The moment I stepped on the treadmill, I felt the cold, hard glare of Carol, our homeowners association president, burning a hole through my back. She was perched on an exercise bike in the corner, a little bead of sweat on her forehead, but her eyes were all business, or rather, all accusation. "Excuse me, who do you think you are?" Her voice cut through the muffled thrum of the gym equipment, sharp as a box cutter. I paused my workout, pulling my earbuds out. "Wait, what?" A deep sigh escaped me, a tired of this crap kind of sound that felt heavier than the weights I just racked. This was the third time in as many weeks she'd tried something like this. The air, thick with the smell of sanitized rubber mats and stale protein powder, seemed to press in on us. I turned to face her, trying to keep my voice even, a conscious effort against the rising irritation. "I'm just using the gym, Carol. The one that's part of the community." Her jaw tightened, the skin around her mouth pulling taut as if she'd bitten into a lemon. "Part of the homeowners association community," she corrected, her voice dripping with venom. "And you, my friend, are not a member." She gestured around the small, windowless room like she was Queen Elizabeth inspecting her private chamber. My gaze drifted past her to the mirrored wall, catching my own reflection, my gym shorts and worn-out t-shirt a stark contrast to her pristine, branded athleisure. A faint buzzing sound from the fluorescent lights overhead was the only other thing besides her insistent, grating tone. "I haven't seen you at any of the meetings. You don't park with a community sticker, and I'm pretty sure you didn't pay your annual dues. So what gives you the right to be here, using our facilities?" She was practically trembling with self-righteous fury, her hands clenched on the handlebars of the bike. A slow, wry smile formed on my lips. "Carol, you know full well why I don't go to the meetings. And I'm pretty sure you also know why I don't have a sticker or pay dues." The look she shot me was one of pure, unadulterated suspicion. It was a familiar dance. Every time she tried to enforce her little kingdom rules on me, I'd offer a vague, knowing response, and she'd retreat, muttering to herself. But today was different. I could feel it in the air, the kind of tense electricity that precedes a thunderstorm. She wasn't going to back down. "I don't know what you're talking about, and frankly, I don't care," she spat. "You're trespassing on private property, and I'm calling the police. They'll figure it out." She pulled a phone from her pocket and started dialing, her eyes never leaving mine, a triumphant, almost manic glint in them. For a moment, I just stared at her. Is she seriously doing this? The sheer audacity was almost impressive. The blood hummed in my veins. A low, steady thrum. A small, anxious knot formed in my stomach. The police? This was a ridiculous escalation. But now, it was happening. I just shook my head, my shoulders slumping slightly. I didn't try to stop her. Let her. Within minutes, 2 squad cars pulled into the parking lot, their lights flashing blue and red, painting the gym's front window in a surreal, pulsating glow. 2 officers, a man and a woman, strode in, their uniforms crisp, their faces impassive. The scent of ozone from the flashing lights and the faint smell of their service gear mixed strangely with the gym's usual aroma. Carol, now fully in her element, was practically breathless as she launched into a tirade. "Officers, I'm so glad you're here. This man, right here, he's a squatter. He's been using our community's facilities without paying a single dime. I told him he can't be here, but he just won't listen. He's a trespasser." She pointed a trembling, accusatory finger at me. I stood perfectly still, my hands in my pockets, watching her. One of the officers, the tall, no-nonsense woman with a stern face, held up a hand. "Ma'am, please, calm down. Let's just hear everyone out." She then turned to me. "Sir, is that true? Are you a member of this homeowners association?" I took a deep, steadying breath. This was it. The main act. No, officer, I said, my voice clear and calm. I'm not a member. I saw the woman's expression begin to harden, a telltale sign of a quick judgment being made. Carol let out a satisfied huff behind me. See? I told you. But, I continued, meeting the officer's gaze without blinking. I am a landowner in this community. The officer's eyes flickered, a subtle shift in her demeanor. A landowner? She asked, a hint of confusion in her tone. Yes, my grandmother, God rest her soul, owned the property on Willow Creek Court. When she passed, she willed it to me. And as you know, or should, the Homeowners Association is a voluntary association. My grandmother never joined, and neither have I. I pay my property taxes, and according to the community's original charter and state law, that gives me every right to use the common facilities. The silence that followed was deafening, punctuated only by the distant hum of the refrigerators in the office kitchen. The male officer, who had been quietly observing, pulled out his phone and started typing, his brow furrowed in concentration. Carol's jaw went slack. The triumphant gleam in her eyes vanished, replaced by a dawning horror. The woman officer's face went completely blank, the way a computer screen freezes right before it crashes. She just stared at me, then at Carol, and then back at me again, processing this utterly unexpected and devastating information. It was as if I'd just told her the sky was green. The other officer looked up from his phone, a slow, disbelieving look on his face. She's right, Carol, he said quietly, his voice a low rumble. The Homeowners Association bylaws can't supersede the community's original deed of trust. The deed states that all landowners have access to the common areas. Carol spluttered, her face turning a fiery red. But the fees, the maintenance, everyone has to pay their share. The female officer sighed, a long, drawn-out exhalation. Ma'am, he's a non-member landowner. He's not bound by the HOA's voluntary membership agreement. His taxes cover his share of the public upkeep. The only thing you can do is politely ask him to join the Homeowners Association. You can't accuse him of trespassing. The words landed like a physical blow. Carol's shoulders slumped, her entire body deflating. The air that had been so thick with her fury now felt thin and empty. She looked from me to the officers, her eyes darting, searching for some loophole, some way to regain control. But there was none. I just stood there, the silence a sweet symphony of vindication. The two officers, after a final, weary shake of their heads, turned and walked out, leaving a defeated Carol behind. The flashing lights disappeared, and the gym returned to its peaceful hum. I watched her, standing there in the middle of the floor, a monument to her own self-importance. She met my gaze for a brief second, and in her eyes, I saw not just humiliation, but a flicker of true, bitter rage. She said nothing, just picked up her phone and walked out, her footsteps heavy and slow. As she left, I took a deep breath, the air now feeling clean and light. It was a beautiful thing, watching someone's small, petty empire crumble. The real victory wasn't in proving her wrong. It was in knowing that some things like genuine property rights and standing your ground against unfounded entitlement will always be more powerful than a flimsy, self-appointed crown.